After a steady decline in COVID cases and the positivity rate going down, Delhi is unlocking in the next phase today. As per the new guidelines, you're going to see markets, malls opening, but for a stipulated time between 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Restaurants and public transport will be allowed to run with 50% capacity. Public transport can ply with half the seating capacity. Only 2 passengers are allowed in autos as well as taxis. This is being permitted for 1 week on a trial basis, and if cases go up, then the government will go ahead and again impose strict restrictions. Social, political and religious gatherings remain prohibited. Weddings will not be allowed in places like banquet halls or hotels. Weddings will only be allowed in closed spaces like in a person's home and with not more than 20 people. Spas, gyms, yoga centers, parks, gardens, all of that will remain closed for the public. This, the government says, is to break the chain of transmission. And listen into exactly what the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal had to say about this phase of unlock in Delhi.
कल 5 बजे के बाद से सारी एक्टिविटीज़ अलाउड हैं, एक्सेप्ट कुछ एक्टिविटीज़ हैं जो बिल्कुल प्रोहिबिटेड हैं, वो बिल्कुल अलाउड नहीं है, और कुछ एक्टिविटीज़ हैं जो रिस्ट्रिक्टेड तरीके से अलाउड हैं. सारे स्कूल बंद रहेंगे, कॉलेज बंद रहेंगे, एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशंस बंद रहेंगे, कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूशंस बंद रहेंगे. सोशल, पॉलिटिकल, स्पोर्ट्स, एंटरटेनमेंट, एकेडमिक, कल्चरल, रिलीजियस, फेस्टिवल, इससे रिलेटेड जितनी गैदरिंग्स हैं, कोई भी गैदरिंग अलाउड नहीं हो. प्राइवेट ऑफिसेज जितने हैं वो 50% कैपेसिटी पे काम करेंगे, 9 बजे से 5 बजे तक काम करेंगे और कोशिश करेंगे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वर्क फ्रॉम होम की. जितने मार्केट्स हैं, मार्केट कॉम्प्लेक्स हैं, मॉल्स हैं, वो अब पिछले हफ्ते ऑड इवन था, कल से पूरी तरह से सारी दुकानें खुल सकती हैं 10 बजे, लेकिन 10 बजे से 8 बजे तक शाम को. और जो रेस्टोरेंट हैं वो 50% सीटिंग कैपेसिटी पे काम करेंगे. ये एक हफ्ता हम लोग देखेंगे मार्केट्स और रेस्टोरेंट्स का.
So that was the announcement by the Delhi Chief Minister on exactly what opens up now from today. Let me also take this across now to Ashutosh Mishra. He's joining us live with the latest updates on this. Ashutosh, good morning. The Delhi government has made it very clear that while we're going to be seeing considerable unlock in the national capital, it's essentially on a trial basis. So what that means is if cases go up, the government is saying we will again impose curbs.
Absolutely. If the cases are, further these inclining trends, these restrictions will be back in force yet again. And remember, today, when the phase 3 of the unlock, which begins across the capital, several restrictions have been eased out. Now you'll see the salons are opening up. Even the restaurants are allowed for the in-room dining. Of course, the capacity will be half of than they usually have. The metro will be functioning with a half of the sitting capacity. Public transport, as you rightly mentioned, in cab or the auto, more than 2 persons are not allowed. Religious places have been opened, but there will be visitors which are not allowed. Even the wedding ceremonies have been allowed, but only with the people of 20 attendees maximum limit, and that too indoor at person's house, not at the public venue. So clearly, looking upon these restrictions which have been eased out, also, the odd event formula that was adopted for several markets have also been done away with. But clearly, on this 1 week, the government is observing whether, despite of all, these opening up, whether there is a surge in the cases, because Delhi, the kind of havoc it has seen during the second wave, the worst wave kind of people, the number of people that died, clearly the authorities does not want to take any chance, and that's exactly why the Chief Minister allowed that while these restrictions have been eased out, it will be on the trial mode, and a government will observe whether there is a further surge or the declining trend, which is going to be a matter of concern. Then these restrictions not only be taken back, but these eased out relaxation not only be taken back, but also there will be new restrictions coming in place. Back to you, Akshita.
All right, Ashutosh, thank you for breaking that down for us. Let me just explain for you now what's allowed and what's not allowed. Starting off with prohibited activities currently, you are seeing unlock, but all of this is still not allowed. Schools and colleges remain shut. The government hasn't given its nod for them to open up. All social, political, sports, religious gatherings remained prohibited, remained banned at this point. Swimming pools, stadiums, they've not opened up in this phase of unlock. Similarly, movie theatres and multiplexes are also not open. Malls may be open, but you cannot visit a theatre in the mall. Banquet halls and auditoriums, where people usually gather in large numbers for events, all of that remains closed. Spas, gyms, yoga centres will not be opening up in this phase of unlock. Similarly, public parks and gardens are also closed. This is something that's also triggered a huge debate because many have said that these are open areas. They can be opened up. But for now, the government has said no. Let me now explain to you what's open and what's allowed. So standalone neighborhood shops are all allowed to function. This was last week too. 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. is the time given to them. Restaurants are allowed to open in this phase of unlock. So this is a new update, a new guideline. But the condition is that they're allowed only with 50% capacity to ensure all norms of social distancing can be maintained. Weddings are allowed only at home. You cannot hold it in a banquet hall or in a hotel. And again, even at home, only 20 guests are allowed at this stage. Metros and buses, all your public transport in the national capital is functioning, but again with 50% capacity to ensure social distancing is maintained. Autos and taxis are plying on the roads of Delhi. They're allowed to ferry only 2 passengers besides the driver. Funerals, 20 people can attend. That is the norm, no more than 20, and masks, social distancing is a must. So that's what's changed as far as Delhi is concerned, as you're seeing the curbs now being slowly lifted phase-wise.